The last one that Aquinas points out in this circulation of wise spirits is one of a so-called heretic by the name of Sieger of Brabant, who was an Averroist and was condemned for his Averroism. Whatever knowledge and whatever canonized knowledge we may have, for Dante it includes figures who had been judged unworthy of knowledge or heretical or wrong, and now they are retrieved. So the idea of knowledge is one that keeps changing. The idea of the canon of knowledge keeps always expanding and including voices that had been rejected. Let me tell you more about this representation of Sieger of Brabant. You understand he's an Averroist, and we do know, how does Dante go about, other than just saying he's here, how does he go about justifying his salvation? Canto 10, from this point of view, is retrospectively one that sheds light on Canto 10 of Inferno, where we also saw, you remember, the Averroists and the Epicureans, Guido Cavalcanti, those who believed that the mind, that love and knowledge never interact with each other, that the mind goes, rationality is darkened and dimmed by the intrusions of the passions, right? You remember? And that the mind is one that receives ideas from the outside, all that notion of both the inertia of the will and the divisions within the mind itself. Dante now is correcting some of those views. So let's look a little bit at these metaphors in Canto 10. This one, from whom thy look returns to me, is the light of a spirit, to whom, in his grave thoughts, death seemed slow in coming. He was killed, by the way, by a madman, and Dante writes a sonnet about him in around 1281 or so. It is the eternal light of Sieger, so we know that he's saved, who, lecturing in the street of straw, demonstrated invidious truths. Dante gives the address of this man. He lectured, a word that has a certain value in the university language, a university lexicon of the time. Lecturing is an activity that implies glossing, just as the glossata of Aristotle, but he tells us where he lived, in the street of straw in Paris, a street that now is called, by the way, the Rue de Foire, but is now called the Rue Dante, knowing that clearly the Parisians are mindful of this passage. Dante is placing Sieger on the road, on the way. He's giving us his address, but he's telling us that his thinking takes place while he is on the road. You all know that philosophy is always understanding itself as a journey, a method, an exodus, right? Parmenides, or Aquinas, who thinks about the 5 ways to reach the ultimate truths about God. And here for Dante, is a philosopher is on the way to theological certainty, theological truth, and theological knowledge. And he demonstrated invidious truths. The Italian is sillogizzo, made syllogisms out of, rationally demonstrated invidious truths. What are these invidious truths? Invidious truths, I'm not sure that all the translators would agree. Invidious truths have to be understood etymologically. This is the canto where Isidore of Seville is present, the Isidore of Seville being the arch etymologist of the Middle Ages. And Dante is showing how too he can play with etymologies. You know, Isidore of Seville is the one who believed that the whole of knowledge, all we know, the compass of all knowledge can really be arrived at through etymologizing language. Language, the etymon of language, the origin of words, will give us an access to the nature of reality. So language becomes a way of knowing the world. Dante indulges in the same activity, calling the truths that Sieger pursued invidious, which etymologically means those things, those truths that cannot be demonstrated, those truths that cannot be seen. Philosophy appears as an art of speculation that takes us on the way to a truth that it cannot quite have access to. What are these truths that Sieger of Brabant sought access to? The immortality of the soul. There's no way he would have known or even discovered that. Aristotle is very doubtful about the individual immortality of the soul in the Treatise on the Soul. He tried to consider, to view, to decide about the origin of the world. Sieger believed that the universe is another one of those undemonstrable beliefs that the universe is eternal. Right? And this is an argument that so medieval thinkers and theologians engaged in. Averroes on the one side, and Aquinas, who maintains that philosophically you really can believe and show that the universe is really is eternal. But out of faith, you can go on believing in creation, that things have a beginning. Because if you don't think that things have a beginning, then there's never a possibility of allowing for giving some ground and rooting the idea of your freedom, your innovations, the possibilities things can be different from you, from what they were before, and so on.